Yeah, the brother Siayome here. You're tuned in to Bless FM on the Spiritual Consciousness Revolution show. Yeah. So just chillax a little and just take in this little dubwise and prepare for what we're going to go into. This evening's topic is going to be about Rasta, but not in the way that you may ever have, not in the way you may expect, you know? Because we're going into the difference between spirituality and religion. And I like to say, you know, give thanks to Syed, who was just, show was just before mine. And yeah, this thing about how we create our own destiny, authors of our own destiny. Well, I'm going to go into a bit some more about that, because these are cosmic truths we need to align with in this time. You know, we've been so caught up in man's lore, human egoic consciousness, you know, opinions, thoughts, rationale, and biasness, and dogma, and all that doctrine through the ages. And all it's done is just manipulate the consciousness of the people from their realizing their true power and true potential and their true identity. So what we're going to go into is going to deal some penetrating knowledge, y'all, for you to contemplate and, you know, expand your awareness into more deeper realities of thyself. So, chillax and tune into the groove. Dubwise. Yes, no more living in this disagreeable way. Yeah, roots. Reality of our true selves, y'all. This is the acronym for the word roots. So what I say, reality of our true selves, reality of one's true self, to realize the reality of our true self. This is our roots. This is the roots. You see? This is beyond some physical tree business. This is about the spirit true reality of being. Yes. So, yeah, man. The lyrics in this song, the message in the song is telling you. So, we're going to play some more of it, and then we're going to go straight into the groove, straight into the cosmic dive, okay? All right.
From the
deep within our being, yeah. Reality of our true selves. Irie. Okay, people. Get ready to start the show in a few seconds, y'all. But I'm gonna let this track run. You get the full groove of it. I did this track about 13 years ago. Anyway, enough of that. Tune in. Spiritual Consciousness Revolution Show, y'all. Bless FM. Dial in, text in. Telephone number is 079-444-31366. I'll say it again, another period of time. But yeah, step into reality of our true selves, yeah. Greetings, one and all. Yes, roots, reality of our true selves. You're tuned in to Bless FM, and you're tuned in to the Spiritual Consciousness Revolution Show. Tonight, we're going to talk about Rasta. I know a lot of folks of my generation, you know, we were very influenced by Rasta when it came forward. We were the young children. We were born in the late 60s, growing up in the 70s. So, you know, Rastafari and the message through the Wailers and Bob Marley and, you know, the other Rastaman them who were dealing with the feeling at them times. It was a strong spiritual message in a very high volatile political environment or political time. So the spiritual message was getting picked up by some, but slid off like cheese on a cracker for some others who didn't really get it. We get caught up in the political agenda and a lot of mix-up till things became quite, I can't say, a little hypocritical and thing, you know. However, the essence of what the truth in the message is about is what we're getting in touch with here, and this is what we're going to discuss. So, everything is about attuning to our spiritual consciousness, yeah? And I'm going to read out something which is a speech from His Majesty Selassie I, Emperor Haile Selassie. He had a speech on spirituality. And this is how his speech goes. The temple of the Most High begins with the human body, which houses our life, essence of our existence. Africans are in bondage today because they approach spirituality through religion provided by foreign invaders and conquerors. We must stop confusing religion and spirituality. Religion is a set of rules, regulations, and rituals created by humans which were supposed to help people grow spiritually. However, due to the human imperfection, religion has become corrupt, political, and divisive, a tool for power struggle. Spirituality is not a theology or ideology. It is simply a way of life, pure and original, as was given by the Most High. Spirituality is a network of linking us to the Most High, supreme source of being. the universe, and each other. As the essence of our existence, it embodies our culture, true identity, nationhood, and destiny. A people without a nation they can really call their own is a people without a soul. Africa is a nation and is in spiritual and physical bondage because her leaders are turning to outside forces for solutions to African problems, when everything Africa needs is within her. When African righteous people come together, the world will come together. This is our divine destiny. Now, this was a speech from and by His Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Now, as you heard in that speech, there was a clear difference between religion and spirituality. And there is a big difference between this that we get caught up with. One moment I would like to just acknowledge the people who's come into the room here, sir, because we're gonna have a little good, seriously warm cooking tonight. Yes. I would like to firstly, before I go tune in and get into our next aspect, because we're building this reasoning up, yeah, I would like to introduce the three panels. All right, we are dealing with panel, all right. You know, but we are dealing with, you know, the other aspects, you know, dealing with a collective soul reasoning here. Yeah. You see, we're dealing with a collective soul reasoning in here. So firstly, I would like to introduce Sister in
Nestlin, Exhibiri Maskan, greetings in the name of Haile Selassie first, and in Tegwe Menen without end. My name's Iyarta. Happy to be on Bless FM. Ireful greetings.
Bless, lovely. And the King I in here, please.
Yeah, Tuffis Irie.
Yairi.
Rastafari. Give thanks and praises almost high.
All right. All right, thank you for introducing yourselves and let all the listeners here and know. And my brother Bless, you want to say something?
Yeah, greetings and welcome. Greetings, family. Welcome to Bless Radio, you know. And first of all, we give thanks and praise to the Most High, the Almighty, for making all things possible. And we have I don't even say a partner, we have a family here, ancient spirits, that is here to guide all of us in this walk of Rastafari. Lots of ones don't know a lot about it, and some of you do. But for those who are coming up as well, so we see enough of the young ones coming up, we see enough of the empresses and queens going into the hairdressers and get their mother locks, father locks, sister locks, all different kind of locks. But remember how it goes. No matter when we see you on the road, we're going to hail you up and respect you same way, or greet you same way. So we're going to just go through some knowledge of Rastafari, which a lot of us is not aware of. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing today.
All right. So we will continue this discourse here. Now, before I go into this, because I'm going to read something out from the hymns of Amun, and I have to go into next, just explain a little thing. You see, as I said earlier, I am one of the generation that was born in the late 60s, therefore grown up in the 70s. So I was the child. I was one of the children and the youths that was receiving the message of Rastafari through the music and so forth during the time. And as I said earlier, it was a message, a spiritual message. There was a higher and deeper meaning within this message that was trying to make itself felt through a very highly volatile time and political uprising and what you could say, you know, disturbance. Okay, you know, we're dealing with a time where the Vietnam War ended in 1968. We had the civil rights movement. Yeah, around them time there, you had the Uranus and Pluto conjunct. Yeah, in the sign of Virgo, creating a new Uranus and Pluto cycle. I'll go more into this Uranus and Pluto and a bit of astrology, maybe later on or in further shows. But just kind of painting, giving you the idea of the volatile time that this message was coming through. And I would have to say that the music was, I would say, the lifeline for many of us, because the music was truly spiritual and so much individual expressions. There wasn't people who were like clones just singing, making the same music. There was individual, unique groups, bands, and individuals, with powerful messages and, touching the soul, feeding that spark, during that very dense time. So, in the influence, for I, as a youngster, a youth, Rastafari, I felt it as a spiritual calling from within. And I was doing certain research as a youngster. I was 21, 19, 20, 21 and thing. And I was, this whole thing with Rasta, I wasn't really about the Bible. I mean, I was caught up in it based on family and upbringing and so forth. But there was things that I knew was beyond that doctrine that I wanted to tune into. So anyway, Rasta talking about the I, okay? And I end up I find Rasta, I found this word Rasta, but it wasn't in King James Bible. Many, many years ago, about nearly, 2.5 decades, I found the word Rasta in this book called Coming Forth by Day. And when I saw that, it was a revelation on a very deep spiritual intuitive level. But here I'm going to read to you something now. And we're going to get into this. All right. This is coming from the Hymns of Amun. Coming Forth by Day. And it's a word of power. And it's part of the hymn. It's a passage from part of the hymn. And this I'm going to break down the esoteric meaning in it after I read it, yeah? Okay. So it goes like this. I have entered into the house of Asar, and I have removed the head coverings of him that is therein. I have entered into Rasta, and I have seen the hidden one who is therein. I was hidden, but I found the boundaries. I journeyed to Neruteth, and he who was therein covered me with a garment. Verily he, Asar, told me the things which concerned himself. Now this is called a heku. A heku is a words of power. It's a passage of affirmation where you're identifying with the very state of consciousness you want to align in or attune to. All right. Now let's break this down. The mystical meaning behind this heku, this word of power, is presented as a very important. It is very important to understand what is meant by these terms, or the terms enlightenment and mystical experience. Firstly, Rasta, also spelt at Rastau, refers to the site of the grave of Asar. Now, in this respect, we're not chatting about a grave digging the earth. A grave is also shrine. Shrine is another term, right? And this is really, it is shrine, where you're dealing with a place that is sacred. Some people will find a church to be at their shrine. Some people will find a temple to be their shrine. Somewhere where you find this place is sacred, and where you can get in tune with that which is holy and of a higher order of intelligence. So this is what it's meaning. Now Rasta is the shrine of Asar. Okay. Now this, firstly, what I'm reading here is thousands of years before the Bible, and thousands of years before you even hear the term Rasta coming through in the 70s. Well, it was before that. It started with Leonard Howell. Well, some of us would, there's a whole lot of history on that, but I don't want to kind of stray away from really where we're going with this tonight. But the point I'm making is that Rasta for this to hear the word in here, which is coming from thousands of years before even Leonard Howell. Yeah, and the building up a pinnacle, yeah, in Jamaica back them times there. Where to find this, to hear this in an ancient script which dates back thousands of years, yeah, is something you have to check, yeah, because it looks like Rasta is a vehicle for something that is far more ancient than the times we were introduced back to it. But let me continue. So Rasta is the shrine of Asar. Understand this. And the name of Asar is also meaning the place of the eye. Okay? Right? The hieroglyph over that you will see for Asar would be a throne. You see an eye over the throne. Yeah? When you just have the throne, that's a symbol for Aset, where the Greeks call now Isis. Yeah? Now, Asar can translate to mean the place of the eye. So the place of the eye, yeah, shrine is called Rasta. All right, so let's carry on. Now, the hidden one, where it says, I have seen the hidden one, it is saying now that the hidden one, of course, refers to Shetiai. Now, these are some terminologies I'm not going to get hold up in because I'll explain them later. But Shetai means the hidden supreme being, who is known as Asar Amun. Amun means the hidden, and Asar is, again, as I said, the place of the eye. So, here, the initiate discovered that he or she was able to find a boundary and to discover the abode of the hidden one. The initiate was able to discover the difference between what is real and what is illusion, and was therefore able to traverse the illusory duat. The duat is the astral plane. Okay? And discover the special location wherein there is the supreme peace and immortality. Nerutef refers to the mythological site of the grave of Asar, or the innermost shrine. Okay? This line imparts the wisdom that God, him, herself, is the one who ultimately gives the highest wisdom about God. All of the teachings of the scriptures are only incomplete and indirect descriptions of God, because God transcends any and all mental concepts. Even though the spiritual scriptures are given by sages and saints who are in communion with God, the medium of communication, words, and concepts remain in the realm of the mind, which represents relative reality. Therefore, the study of the scriptures and various rituals cannot in and of themselves confer enlightenment or the mystical experience of union with the divine. For this to occur, it is necessary to actually experience the divine. And in order for this to occur, it is necessary to discover one's true essence as one with God, or the source of your being. All right? For only by becoming one with something can that thing be known. In this form of knowing, there is experience, unlike intellectual knowledge, which does not confer experience. If a teacher tells you about China, you have intellectual knowledge. If you visited China, you have experience. So there's a little explanation to the difference between spiritual knowledge and intellectual knowledge. Now, I'm just going to go a little further, and then I'm going to finish this. Therefore, so we go back again now. There is no way to describe the kind of knowledge that is gained through actual experience. Therefore, in order to truly have knowledge of the divine, it is necessary to commune with the divine. All other forms of knowledge are incomplete and will not lead to abiding peace, either while living on earth or in the duat. This does not mean that acquiring intellectual knowledge is not important. Before you can harvest fruits, you must first plant the seeds. Before you plant the seeds, you must clear the land and prepare the soil. Intellectual knowledge
tills the soil, removing the weeds and shrubs of mental agitation, egoism, selfishness, and negativity. A seed planted in this fertile soil will grow into the tree of the subtle, purified intellect. Then it is possible to harvest the fruits of the intuitional realization of the self or enlightenment. Shai and Renenet are found in the judgment scene in the Hall of Mahat, wherein Tuhuti or Juhuti records the results of a person's deeds and level of spiritual understanding. The hands of Juhuti, which is the nectar of wisdom, are the goddess called Shai, which means fate or destiny, and the goddess Renenet, which means fortune and harvest. The implication is that you reap, okay? Harvest is reaping the results of your actions, which is destiny, yeah? According to your level of wisdom. Thus you yourself are the determiner of your own actions, the judge of your own actions, the determiner of your own fate and fortune, or the fruits you will reap for those actions. Now, just digest that for a moment, yeah? Because this is actually bouncing off from the last little piece of Syed's show, which was about destiny. Okay? So just absorb that for a moment, and we'll be back.
All right. No, we're not back. We're still here. We're still here. All right. Greetings and welcome. We're there again. Just a reason and thing. Siayome. I'm going to introduce sister, I say Qween. No, because you know you're a queen, right? All right. Yeah, Qween Iyarta. Yeah. And King Tuffis. Jack Tuffis, or Rasta Tuffis. Yeah. So, let me ask you something before you go away somewhere where you're not going to go nowhere.
I'm not going away. I just.
Right, so you're saying Rasta is in those books, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, how do you, in layman terms, connect Rasta from there to Rasta as we are now, as a liberty way of life or whatever? Some people say it's a religion, some say it's a way of life, some say it's all different things. But how do you connect the dots between here and there?
Well, it started off as my own inner journey, my own personal journey.
Yeah.
So this is the way I would say. As I was growing up, Rasta, the message of Rasta was more than just, all right, let me just put it this way. It was a very spiritual thing to I. It was like I was penetrating to the certain messages, certain terms about the I, and about the voice within, about knowing the Almighty directly, and this whole thing about God and the Most High. You see, I came in here with this, in my incarnation, I always felt to myself so that there's no mediator between you and the Creator. You know, we brought up believing that Jesus is the mediator and so forth. And yet, on these pictures where you see about you see the picture of Jesus and he's pointed to his heart, yeah? And I found these things, it's like images, it's symbols. And as a young youth, it's like you're looking at something and there's something more than what you're looking at that you're feeling, right? So for myself now, to cut a long story, I come to realize that when I look at this picture, it was like a road sign, It's like you don't take nothing literal. You have to look at the symbolic language of an image, yeah? So your unconscious, which is the subconscious, is reading things in that way. But then now, some of us come in and we're very intuitive, very psychic, very able to feel the mental atmospheres in the environments we're in. But you're not around people who can help guide you, steer you, let you know what's going on. Because they themselves may not be spiritually seeking to know themselves. So I came to realize that this picture of pointing to your heart, that's what it was. It was basically the Christ picture was saying, well, that's where you have to go. Yeah, rather than people get stuck worshiping picture, image on the wall and thing. It was like a road sign, and you see a person a point somewhere. So you look into the direction they're pointing.
Yeah.
So you then go to the direction where they're pointing. You don't look at the finger. You don't turn around and worship them hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I began to intuitively realize things, Yeah, and then you end up getting certain statements where you hear about inner the heart, you have to look for God. You know, later on realizing that the heart chakra was the mediator between the higher chakra energy centers and the lower. But how this connect with Rasta now is, for me now, is like, say, I was looking for some evidence of this thing and I couldn't find it in the Bible. And I was guided to the coming forth by day. I didn't know nothing about it at that time. I was very young. Yeah. I was kind of 19 going 20. Yeah. So when I saw Rasta in there, I thought to myself, hang on a minute. I wonder if it's a mistake, wordplay, or, you know, I wonder if it's a little, you know, I said to myself, all right, let me go and look into a next book that is another translation of the same thing and see if the word's there. So I came up across it again, and it was Rasta, spelled just like how I hear it as I was growing up, and it was also spelled Rastau. Yeah. So every time I used to look upon ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, I'm looking at these Aphrofertes, or they're called pharaohs. I kept seeing Rasta. Those the Namuz, which they're saying, you know, Namuz is the headdress, and it's a term for the lion mane. Yeah. But when I used to look upon these here headdress, you see the netters are wearing, I kept seeing Rasta. I was seeing these things as locks. Yeah. So I'm thinking, so I went, this is now going to 1995, I was trying to tell some Rastas about what I saw, try to share them my insight. And because I mentioned Egypt now, them said to me, no man, you talk nonsense, man. You see the Egyptians, them put me in a slavery and put me in a bondage and this and this and that. So they was just kind of dissing what I was trying to share with them. And I realized that if you're reading the King James Bible, you're not going to find no Rasta in there. But when you're dealing with what goes before, because I remember it was seek your ancient culture. That was some of the statements that Celeste said. So you seek your ancient culture for what? To hold on to the past? To hold on to physical remnants? You see what I'm saying? And I realized, said, no man. For myself, I realized when you're going into your history, it's the hidden treasures of your spiritual reality that you can find in it. You see what I'm saying? So when I end up going into this thing and I find, Rasta is Asar, and then some of the dreams I was having, it's a combination of also the revelations that was coming forth from the contents in my subconscious, yeah? That was coming to my conscious awareness, that was helping me connect the dots. You see what I'm saying? For myself. Yeah, because when I started to grow my locks, it wasn't no, I'm following this man for grow locks. I never even started smoking herb. Not saying you even need to smoke herb. I never even started smoke herb until I was around 21. See? And I went and looked into the symbology. You see, I'm an Aquarian. So I have to know why I'm doing. I don't just follow somebody. Yeah? There's people who just follow. And then when them come up against some information that upset them or it wasn't what they expected, then them do all kind of funny things, shave off and all that business and blame it on what they were following. But it's because they were following. They weren't seeking to know for themselves. You know, I've even known people that, you know, get divorced and know them say they're going to cut off locks to what? Hurt who? The person they were married to. You never grow your locks for that. So this is really where I realize, hang on a minute. This is a purpose. What's your purpose? Why do you do what you do? Not what other people are doing it for. You don't watch people and say, boy, yeah, man, this look good. Let me just follow them. If that's how you're dealing with things, you're going to fall off the edge of a cliff. Yeah? Because you have no foundation in yourself for what's guiding you to why you are doing what you're doing. Yeah? You know, it's why are you growing your locks? Why are you doing what you're doing? Not how you grow it. It's why you're doing it. So that was very important. So I knew that the year represented spiritual growth. You see, I went into things to study. I didn't just, as I said, a word of follow fashion, man. So when I started to do this, I was very sincere. It was about spiritual growth and development. And Rasta, from my experience, was telling you about the I within, the divine I, to find the Most High within yourself. You see, but I can understand that the message was getting mixed up with a lot of the political thing as well. You see, and a lot of the religious indoctrination many people have already received, and because it's like you can't, like I say, you can't put new wine in our old buckles, you know what I mean, because you can't mix it up.
Yeah.
All right.
What the I has just described to I is to preserve the ancient teachings as the foundation of the I spiritual growth.
Right.
Because who we were in the beginning is who I and I are now. I and I haven't changed. That's why when the calling of Rastafari comes, it comes spiritually. It's something that's forceful, and it comes with an energy, and it comes with a seeking of knowledge. It comes with a thirst almost, and the more water of that knowledge that is drunk is the more that I seek for.
Right.
Because Rastafari is a movement, but it's also a spiritual calling.
Yes.
But to those who just get up and decide that they're going to wear their lots of fashion, they wouldn't overstand this. It's a spiritual awakening. And as one takes on the journey, different things are revealed to a one. But it's only revealed when it's time. What Rastafari does for I and I, it's a spoon feeding thing. He doesn't stick a piece of yam down a baby's throat. He will spoon feed I and I till I and I reach the stage now where I and I know. There's no question about anything. It's not a belief, it's to know. And when one knows, it's a knowing that comes from within. And this is coming from the ancient times, because who I and I were then is who I and I are now. So nothing that I and I know is new. It's a reminder. Because I and I have forgotten to a level because of the different stages that I and I have been through to be here now. But in this time now, where Majesty in the 21st century, where he's revealed himself to I and I as the King of Kings and the Law of Lords and the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, is to bring I and I into this century and to equip I and I on how to deal with life in this time. Because remember, Egypt and Ethiopia are one.
Yes.
Because if the eye look at all the drawings on the wall of Egypt, and the eye look at the Ethiopian eyes, they're one eye. Mm-hmm. They are one eye, they're one people. But when Ethiopia gave birth to I and I, to the world, right? I and I came out and went to occupied different parts of Abyssinia, Akabulon. I and I occupied different parts. It's like I and I left mama's home and went out to seek a different life somewhere else. And I developed and gained knowledge in each area, Timbuktu, anywhere I and I were. I and I sprouted just knowledge and spirituality. That's why when I and I invaders came amongst I and I, they said, oh, these people are calm. No one steals, no one kills, no one robs. We can't defeat them. The only way we can defeat them is by making them like what we have more than what they've got. Mm-hmm. And we were too quick to take the bait of it. And that's what caused the problems. Even though I and I had internal issues, but I and I had ways of dealing with I and I internal issues traditionally. Yeah. So when Majesty sat on the throne, he came to I and I in this time to guide I and I according to how the government, right now, everything is run on a governmental basis. Now, he came and sat on the throne as the head of government rested upon his shoulder from the time he was 9. He was this Jasmak.
The Jasmak.
In Harar,
Yes.
because Ras Makanan knew who he was and prepared him, was teaching him. So the head of government was on his shoulders because of the time that I and I are living in now. So he never leaves his children. It's only an irresponsible father would go away and never reveal himself to his children. So Majesty sitting on the throne was for I and I now. He's saying now, gather the ourselves together, right? Gather yourselves together according to the ancient knowledge that you know, but in the 21st century, which is our culture. Who I and I are, collective security, peace, love, the respect that I and I should have for the universe, right? Which means we don't pollute it, we don't kill each other, we don't destroy each other, but we live in peace. So Nati was saying, how do we bring it here? This is the time that we're living in now. And I have a great ancient past. But for the present now, Majesty being the head of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which is the spiritual side, because the church and the government work hand in hand in Abyssinia. That's I tradition. The church and the government are not different. The church and the government are equal together because they both take care of the people. So it's also a spiritual order, but it's an order of a collective security of government for world peace and security, and to take care of our people, for the care of our people.
All right. Can I come in here
Yes,
a second
yes.
and inject? I hear everything you says, and I grew up with the teachings like this. The thing what I will add into this is when we begin to think for ourselves, yeah? Each individual is thinking through for themselves, because a lot of us receive ideas, and we don't realize, we're not even asking ourselves where the idea come from. It's like we're not thinking through ideas, because many things are out there to shape our perception and manipulate the consciousness. This is what has been going on.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. The ideas that the I keep coming forward with are the ideas that have always traveled with the I from the ancient times. So it's just to put those ideas into practice, because the I is a Yosef, the I is a water bearer. Right? Peaceful waters flow. The water is like a wide ocean. So the I would be so full of ideas that sometimes the I don't know which one to go to first.
But what I would say with that, if you don't mind,
No,
because
no.
What I would say with that, because like the deeper esoteric meaning of a lot of things is not being presented. We get the literal meaning, so we don't get the spirit in the word. So like those etheric waters, and as you described, like to say, this is a boundless ocean, right? Now this boundless ocean is the ocean of consciousness. You see? Now this consciousness is what we is, because it's consciousness which creates. In my early talk a few weeks back, I was had to break down consciousness, as to understand that, look, wherever there is consciousness, there is life. Where there is life, there is consciousness. And that the whole of existence operates on vibrational frequencies of consciousness.
Where there's no consciousness, there's war.
Well, look at this, right? Now, when it's like in this time, the interpretation of some of the things, like when we're talking about the spiritual government, there's a spiritual government and then there's a physical manifestation of that.
Yes.
But it's like us also when Selassie was saying there's a difference between religion and spirituality.
Yes.
I feel that a lot of folks haven't really listened to that and get that.
Yes, but how it is that the religion for I and I as Rastafari is not a religion as such. It's a way of life. It's the way I and I live. So I and I would never consider it. People call it religious, but the way Rastafari people move is the religiousness of what they're talking about is I and I liberty. Thou shalt not kill. Don't covet your neighbor. Don't destroy Mother Earth. Love your brother as the thyself. I and I are about that in every way I and I walk. That's what I and I are about. That's why I and I lean more to the spirituality, because the religious side of it is the way of life every day for I and I.
But then when Selassie in his speech says there's a difference between spirituality straight up and religion.
Yes.
Because he's saying religion is just rules and regulations that was originally put in place to help people grow spiritually.
Yes.
Who needed rules and regulations in order to curb their behavior, make them think about their actions and their thoughts. You see what I'm saying? Maybe even something that made them afraid to keep them, in check. But it was not spirituality.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But then spirituality now is something that is natural, innate, inherent within us.
Yes.
Those who are awakened enough to be able to tune into that energy.
That's why Rastafari.
This is how I see the two different
that's
things.
why Rastafari people will often say, Majesty is the head of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, because, as I said, the government and the church work together. But I and I wouldn't say that I and I are religious, because we have a way of life, and we don't need anyone to tell I and I not to kill each other, not to do these things, because it's automatic. I and I know that automatically. It's common sense.
It is.
So what other people
It's
need to
routine.
be told and guided by? I and I passed that already. I and I want to build a peaceful world. I and I've gone past that. I and I want to make the sick be nourished, the aged protected, the infants cared for. World peace, world security. When Majesty came to Jamaica, he said that the Ethiopians and the Jamaicans must work together for world peace and security. That's a massive responsibility, taking into an account that I and I have no weapons of mass destruction, and I have no weapons at all. But what I and I have is consciousness.
This is it.
It's total consciousness and awareness of what is right and what is wrong. So sometimes people try to make it look like it's a massive thing that I and I are dealing with. But basically, it's what's right and what's wrong.
You see, with that, and I'm going to say something, and then after that, I'm going to bring in Brother the Rasta. Yeah? All right? Yeah? Because, you see, I'm hearing what you're saying, It's like how I process and hearing things. It's like I'm hearing the essence in what you're saying, right? Rather than just the words you're using, So then straight away, I'm hearing we're dealing with. You see, when we're dealing with Christ consciousness, because this is what it seems. This is not what it seems to be. This is what it is. Yeah. But you see, some people deal with the image and get caught up with the image. Yeah. And the
image is put there to do exactly that.
To trap in the mind.
To trap the mind, yes.
All right.
Because I tell when I told my mother about the picture of Jesus, because all our parents had Jesus up in the house. And one day I looked at the heart of Jesus, and there were some arrows in it, and I'd never noticed that before.
It was thorns. I later realized it was thorns. Yeah.
And the picture was over the church door when we used to go to church in Jamaica. And as a 5-year-old child, I used to sit in church, and I used to say to myself, "Oh, the man there." And meaning, who is that man? Right? I was asking myself, who was that man? Why is he over the door? Right? Why is he over the door? He didn't resonate with my spirit or with my soul. And one day I said to Mum, who do you know, Mum, with thorns in their heart? I said, surely if someone had thorns in their heart like that, they wouldn't live. And she said to me, let me see it. So I said, look deeply, because no one's ever looked at that picture.
Sometimes they're looking and don't even see what they're looking at.
But that's the whole point
there
of
you
it.
Go. Hidden in plain sight.
Hidden.
And then blind to it. That's why they can hide truths and things in plain sight. Yeah,
and that's what they used to trap our parents. Now, when I said to my mother, I said, the picture that you have hanging in the house, Mummy, Michelangelo was authorized by King James to paint a picture. They'd already taken the picture from Ethiopia of Ayasu, the Nazarene, with his long, long locks. They'd stole that out of Ethiopia under General Napier from 1868. They took that picture from Magdala in Ethiopia when Emperor Theodore was emperor of Ethiopia, and they also killed him and then said he committed suicide, which was a lie. But General Napier looted those icons, £3 billion worth of icons from Magdala in Ethiopia. Now, when they got that picture, King James said to Michelangelo, paint a picture like this, but of who you perceive to be the Christ.
Basically in their image. And
so
likeness.
basically, Michael got his family together. He got his sister and he painted her as the Virgin Mother.
Yes, I remember this.
And then he got one of his male members to paint as Ayasu the Christ. And when I told my mum that, straight away she looked at me and she was very angry and she said, "What a wicked man." And I thought to myself, Mummy's a Rasta, because mummy's spirit, she felt it and she was angry. She was angry. So that's what I'm talking about, the consciousness. Our parents were conscious, but they gave them the picture. And they managed to confuse them and convince them that this man was coming to save you. But I often used to say, but this is the man whose children enslaved us. So why would he save us?
Yeah, these concepts.
Why would he save us? So you see, we can flip that. But
Stockholm syndrome business.
Yes, so it's mind control, right? They show us images all the time. If they want the eye to buy something, they show the eye image of it. The eye have the image in the mind, and then the first time that I see it, I'm going to buy a pack of that. If the I want to eat chocolate, they show the eye image of the chocolate. You're sitting there thinking, I could do with a nice bar of chocolate now. And that's imagery. They use those tricks on us. Deceivers of mind.
Yeah, it's a consciousness manipulation. This is how you're getting people to actually act out the things you want them to do without them consciously being aware.
But when the eye is conscious now, there's certain things that I see and that I won't even take too much notice of. I'll see it and don't see it because the eye can dismiss it. That's when the eye's in the reign of consciousness, where those things don't really matter because they're everyday things that I and I have to deal with. But the consciousness of the eye can see round it, because how I and I look at things in the consciousness, I and I don't stand in it but over it. So I and I can see every piece of the puzzle. And that's the difference. That's why Rasta don't understand, but I and I overstand.
Understand and overstand.
Yes, because if you understand, if you're under the weather, you're very sick.
Yeah, that's what some people say.
Yes, you can be under the weather. So I and I have to be over certain things to know. When I and I know, not believe, because there's no belief in this, it's to know.
Well, as what was being said in the hymns of Amun, the Haku that we were saying, that it's to know the Creator is an experiential thing, not an intellectual thing. Yeah. So when we get caught up in intellectual things, this is where belief come in. Yeah. But when we get into the direct experience of the divine, then you come into a knowing. You see what I mean? And that's what it's all about. That's what it's meant to be. Yeah, but it's how the spirituality has been in the Western terms. They tie up everything in religion, make everything very intellectual. So you're believing and you're not having a direct experience of the divine, the supreme being that you're supposed to have, because as it's stated in
distraction.
And as it's stated in those the words of power, those hymns that is thousands of years ago, and in other people's spiritual, cultural, spiritual systems, it was always about a direct relationship, a direct connection, experience with the divine within yourself, in order for you to know thyself. You see?
Yes.
So this is not what's being taught in religion, or this is not what people even think of as spirituality. You see what I mean? Because some people still have this conditioning of religion that makes them believe that, they still have this fear of God and it's something separate and bigger than I, and me is just a little something separate from it, when it's not that.
Because in order for them to conquer, they had to make I people fear them. Fear is one of the biggest problems I and I have, because they've made I and I people so fearful that they're frightened of themselves. Because when you say to someone that Haile Selassie first is the Almighty, them go, that little man,
Yeah, that little beanie man
who look like me, how could he be the Almighty? So I said, but why couldn't he look like the Almighty? Do you look like Jesus?
But here's another.
But you still praise him.
And a good point.
He has blonde hair and blue eyes, and you're black like a tar with your beautiful wide nose and your lovely kissable lips, right? But you still say Jesus is your daddy. But when Majesty come looking like the eye, you're saying it can't be him. Why not?
Yeah. And you're
Why
still
not?
dealing with a man. You're still dealing with
He's
the
still
image of a
dealing
man
with a man. A
that you
man
believe in as Christ
and a man
is the religion.
who
So what
loves the world, who everyone loves, every nation loves. I and I love him because I and I know him. But every nation, as Rastafari brothers and sisters, when I and I go anywhere, in Europe, anywhere, all I and I hear is Rasta, Rastafari, and you. The way that people will call Majesty's name, Rasta, it's with love. It's not with hate. It's with love. So all nations, he says, all nations shall bow before him, and all nations shall know him. And they do. And they do. And yet they don't know him personally, but they know him.
You know, it's a very interesting thing. My brother,
Yes,
come in as well. What you're saying?
Yeah, well, Rastafari are the greatest. But here what the church do now. You see what the church do now? The church calling everyone, whether you're the killer, you don't care what you do. The church say, come in and we save you. But you come in here, so, and you're baptized. You're a fresh man again. You not do you again. So you can't go do anything. So you find more killers and rapers and people do all type of things. Head for the church. They don't seek themselves and know that they don't do that. So when they go to the church and do all type of them doings now, they can come out back and do anything and go back in the church again. Hear what the church do again. The church make you know say, appear me to eat. We not eat no veg. The Almighty God appear me to eat. So when the flood happen now, the Almighty love stinkness. The Almighty love meat. That's their Almighty. Dear God love meat. So what them do now, them eat meat a lot and love meat a lot. And the vegetable, if it clear and pure the people, them cut it away. And if they even give vegetable, then give GMO. And plus with the meat is for 2, 3 years, 4 years. This animal kill, and then still selling it, and then still say they love animals, and they love every living thing on earth, and them a kill out all the animal them, and them a eat out all the animal them a eat chicken so till they don't have much chicken for sell. Them a eat pig so they don't have much pig for sell. Them a eat cow so they don't have much cow for sell. So look more from this. Every animal half of this land.
But my brother,
eat them out.
I'd like to come in on that, because I was sitting down in my consciousness the other day, and I said to my children, all right, look at how many people eat meat. Where are they getting all the cows from? Every day people are eating meat, and people never stop to think about that. How are they finding so many cows to slaughter to make everyone in the world who eats meat? There's something not right going on about the meat eating process. But then you can't tell people what to eat and what not to eat. But what I and I are concerned about is the awakening of the minds of I and I people. And that's what Majesty was more. That's what Majesty wanted for his children, the awakening of the consciousness of us. So I and I are aware of what is happening around us, because look at the sun. Sometimes we're looking at our sun and it's not even our sun. We're seeing a reflector. So unless I and I are in tune with the consciousness when I say is the sun, the moon, the stars, the rain, the breeze, to know when it's a real breeze or to know when it's a false breeze, to look up in the sky and to know when there's a real sky and when there's not a real sky, to be conscious of people around the I that might need help but can't say they need help, but one can reach out to them. Those kind of consciousness. I and I have to be on a consciousness now. On a consciousness whereby we're seeing everything that is happening. Majesty said, I and I must live in the celestial as well as the terrestrial, which means I and I must live in the physical as well as the spiritual. The spirit is a guidance for I and I that is within I and I. It guides I and I. The physical holds the spiritual. So while I and I are satisfied with the spirit, with the physical things that I and I do, it's a spiritual being within I and I that is guiding I and I on a daily path and will take I and I to the destination where I and I are ordained to go. If I and I are not hearing spiritual instructions, then I and I are not hearing nothing. But in order to hear those spiritual instructions, one has to go inside of themselves. No one can make the I hear spiritual instructions because there's all different kinds of vibes out there. And to know when it's your spiritual instruction, it's like the I's hearing the I own voice. Because when Majesty speaks to the I in the I spiritual self, it's almost like the I can hear the I own self speaking. But think about it. How, if Father wasn't speaking to the I in the tone of voice that the I have, like the I self, then the I would say, I'm hearing voices in my head. Who's that voice? So when Majesty's speaking to I and I in the spiritual, it almost sounds like I and I speaking to I and I self. But that's the higher being of the I self.
Yeah.
So listen to that. That sound is that sound of the ancestors and Majesty that guides I and I on this path, because I and I are on a journey. It's a spiritual and it's a physical journey. Some people are ahead of the road and some people are further back. I and I will always meet on this journey. So this is what I always say to the I. Be careful how I and I deal with each other. Deal with love, because in the end, it doesn't matter what anyone says. Where there's no love, there's going to be disaster. Because love, peace, and justice is what I Majesty represents. And that's what I and I need. Without those three ingredients, no beautiful cake can be baked. And there'll be no unity. Love, peace, and justice. Because justice means treating a one like a one wants a one to treat them. No one wants anyone to treat them bad. Peace is to respect each other. Because, as you know, I was saying that earlier, they're giving David Lammy a really hard time online because of what he came out. And this is completely different with the Windrush thing. And they were telling David Lammy, a lot of English people were telling David Lammy that he is to go home and go back where he came from. And I thought, you're also...
That's what they're telling him now?
Yes, they're telling him that online, that he must go home. But they're so unconscious that they don't even realize that David Lammy was born in Whittington Hospital. And then they're so silly again that they don't really realize that after the Big Bang, or whatever they called it, when the Earth was destroyed, the first ascension of man in what they called England now was a man called Cheddar Man, and he was black. He was the first human being that was in this land that they call England. He's called Cheddar Man. So, bigger family out there. I think David Lammy should be asking you to leave. Reason being that his ancestors were here before anyone came, before the Vikings, before anyone else came. Cheddar Man was here. He was a black man who lived in England before any white man existed in England. So, and then again, there's another point. because I and I not racist, so I and I not going to fight down no one. But this is just common sense. This is why I know that the world is unconscious. Remember, family, I and I were quite happy in Africa. Very, very happy. Walking on gold, drinking out of gold cups, going by the river, building pyramids, doing mathematics, science. I and I did everything. Literature, Timbuktu, where everyone used to come and learn. I and I was so happy. And then the I came and invaded. You came and invaded I and I land. Took I and I away captive. Carried I and I to different islands and to this country and to America. So, if you never trouble I and I, we won't be here. So it's disrespectful and it's unconscious. This is what I'm talking about, the conscious self. These people are unconscious because common sense tells you that if I and I were here, because we used to travel before, because Scotland, Douglas, the name Douglas, Dalgleish, it comes from Shaito Dalgleish. He came from Africa. That's where the name Douglas comes from. We built the Hadar Wall in Scotland, which means that I and I have been here for a very long time. But what I'm saying is that the reason why now a lot of I and I are here is because I and I were taken captive and carried to this place that I and I didn't want to come. So everyone's got to wake up now and be conscious and realize that I and I are here because we were bought here, not because I and I want to be here. And a lot of times, if I and I could escape, I and I would go home. I and I would love to go home. But just talking about majesty, repatriation. You see, so we want to repatriate because the world is everyone's, but it doesn't mean that I and I don't long for Mother Africa and I don't long to go back to the Isles of the Sea. But I and I can't do it because the government has made it economically impossible. So if the I will help I and I, then who wants to go will go, right?
Well, I hear all of these things here. I have to say, really being real on this here. It's like I've heard all of these things for decades and think part of, the whole situation with ourselves. But you see, the thing is here is like, I feel there is this, you see, part of all these things is conditioning and program. We hold on to beliefs in our subconscious and we always keep repeating certain things, yeah? It's like different generations can see through some of the things that the generation beforehand couldn't see. So them holding on to, sometimes the older generation is holding on to the things that's holding them back, and the generation now is seeing through them things and seeing past it. Because, you see, I would say that there's no effect without a cause. And there's no cause without an effect. So when we turn around and talk about when, yes, we was in Africa and then we was, dispersed. We was cast aboard through the situation we all fully know. But the thing is that I don't feel sad. Like we sit down like we was just sitting down doing nothing, just cool and everything, and then somebody just come up to us and start to mess around with we and start to abuse you and take away. There's a cause behind an effect, and there's things that we've contributed to for anything to have happened. This to me is the real thing, because when we talk about Christ consciousness is really talking about universal laws. It's talking about, when we talk about ma'at, these are the similar things. Similar thing is saying that you have to know about the universal laws of existence, which is being in harmony with the law of your own being. When you're out of harmony with the law of your own being, there's consequences for that. And it's not no punishment from this idea of this creator religiously given to us, which is, reward and punishment. Them type of things. So if anything bad happened to you, say, oh Lord, God has punished me. If something good happened to you, oh Lord, God bless me. That creator don't exist. That's man-made constructions, which is giving this impersonal being a personality. Yeah. So when we hold on to some of these erroneous ideas, it makes it difficult for us to kind of really fully tap into what the true spiritual power we have within us and all around us is. Because there is even inside there's Matthew 13 verse 8, for example, inside biblical scriptures, and this is not the only place where what I'm going to say resides, but you're talking about there's a parable about the sower, and this whole thing about you sow, what you sow is what you reap. And when I was a youth, my mother used to always tell me something like, what she used to say, you can't plant peas and get corn. Yeah, it's old folk Jamaican saying, but in it is the deep wisdom of nature, which reflects the intuitive truth within ourselves. And this is where I feel getting into this true spiritual knowledge of the difference between spirituality, difference to religion, the Rasta being a real spiritual emerging from the inside out, differently to indoctrinations, that a lot of things that start off pure and spiritual turn into indoctrinations, yeah. And then people want to hold on, people hold on to beliefs, and they, what we call, there's this term called cognitive dissonance, when we hold on to a core belief, and if we hear something that goes contrary to that core belief, we begin to try to defend the belief rather than seek to expand our knowledge about that which we should desire to know, deepen our spiritual insight. So spiritual lore is what one and all, what's universal, what one and all is to comprehend. Because when we're dealing with being the author of your own destiny, it means that your consciousness, it's more than just being conscious of the clothes you're wearing or the surroundings around you or what you may have been taught in history. Consciousness is more than that. Consciousness is what creates, it's the primal substance that creates and gives form to that which is made visible. You see what I'm saying? So it's the Nun in the ancient Kemetic mystery systems, which is the primordial light that is molded, crystallized through what we conceive in our consciousness, and then it takes form. You see what I'm saying? Out of that light, out of that Nun. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm going to pass on to the eye. There's something more I really want to get into and say.
We can get into
because we want to get into the juice of spiritual truth, knowledge, and practice. You see what I'm saying? That empowers us and nourishes our souls beyond the indoctrinations that we still get caught up in. You understand?
No. All right, listen.
All right, bro.
All right. For those who are listening, become a bridging upon a level now, so I'm going to bring him back down to earth for a little while.
Right. Have to take it all
That's
away.
Cool. All right, number to get you through, which is if you've got any comments, you can send a text or you can send a WhatsApp, which is 079 444 31366. Yeah, that's if you want to send a comment and thing. Tell us your experience and thing. 079 444 31366. And you can just go to the website if you're not getting us clearly. It's blessradio.org. Alright, you can just go on. We've got so much other links up out there, But still, before we go any further, so that's the thing, we're gonna talk to Tuffis, and then we're gonna take a commercial break.
Yes.
We'll have some lunch and thing. Kind of pan fire already. Right, so and then we're gonna come forward again. So Tuffis.
Yes, I am.
Tuffis.
Right. Yes, man. I can ask you something before you even go into the thing. How did you come into Rastafari? Because we are talking about the spiritual aspects of it, but there's also a journey that a lot of people start in a different way. You said your journey, right? Sound that you didn't know nothing. You just walked on a spiritual path, and it led you to this. Yeah. So now we're gonna talk to one of the ancient spirits. Yeah. So you have to know, so when man like Tuffis tell you him journey, it's a real thing, as well. There's different side of spiritual and physical. So Tuffis, how did you get into the work of Rastafari? What did start your journey from the beginning?
Say poor and poverty.
Yeah?
Yes, poor and poverty. Me grew up in a little place in Jamaica. When I'm Green Jail. And it's a little place where poor and poverty emerge so much that you have to be strong if you not go out of line. And I keep strong because my mother was so humble to my old lady, and I was so want to do everything where my old lady asked me to do. So I'm so humble and obedient to my old lady. But My old lady was the poorest woman in our community. I mean, she does have a little one room house where me and my little brother them living at that time. So me I say, wow, the Almighty is so strong that the Almighty, my old lady not even work and make we live every day. We are eat and drink every day. But here one now the Almighty give a season. My old man drop out at an early age of mine, but my old man was so spiritual, so he plant up a whole island with food, like so you have mango, ackee, breadfruit and everything, coconut and everything. So my old lady didn't have to work so hard to work on the season. So when man everything come in, we save and everything. So me I say the most high, give me a movement where it's like me no go out, they go do nothing bad. Fit nobody do nothing or say nothing about us. So when you grow up in our way, then me I say the most I like in just pave a way for me. So me I say the right way for going up. I just to the most I way. So me always sing and chant cause you see Rastafari come off of him, you know. Every Christian in Jamaica them a Rasta, you know. You saw me say but then go in a church because I image there. But every one of them I say Rasta. Anytime you hear an old lady ask for sitting from the most high, especially in them poor poverty country there, she get it. So I saw we live. So we live by the riverside. It's a riverside we live by, you know, and the most I make the rain fall and the river full of fish. And it's like people have to come over when we are the poor, it's people have to come over our river. We call it our river. Cause no fish not over the next side,
Yeah,
over side.
Bless you.
Bless everything. Rastafari.
Yeah.
So we live up on that liquor way there now. I mean I say, you know what's the best way is to turn and move to the king way. So me go a hills and live in a hills for about a year or 2 years. And when me live in a hills for about a 2 or 3 years and say alright, we are plant up the hills. When we are plant up the hills, everything will come abundant again. When everybody I say we crazy, when we come down the hills, them a big way. All I man them we are say we crazy. And we are madman and go a hills, gonna live in a hills, or live in a house, down a flat. When we come in now with things reap up, them a big way. So me I go to the more side, the more me I go to the more side till this time. Rastafari. So the more side show me what he can do for me and he do it for me. He show me. And I say me live in a abundant. Me live at a little place and my whole year there go 5 hours when I will drop out left 4 and she not work or nothing. And the most I make we eat every day. Look at that. And drink every day. My lord.
I'm gonna say something pertaining to that. There's a story where there's some little village, yeah. Some people can't remember where them there, but there's a village, and upon the village, upon the place, it's bare looting and violence and all these things, rape, all these things are going on. And then one day the people them turn around and say, yo, they're gonna turn to the Most High. So when they did turn to the Most High, them start praying, them start worship, and them start pray and worship, and then all of a sudden, feed them land start bear fruits 3 times the size of everywhere else. Yeah, and I said, well, then take them. You can see the video. Some carrot them bust all a foot long carrot, you know, big, natural. So it shows me. So well, you see, when you turn to the Most High, and the more of you, you know, unity is strength. The Most High will bless the land. And you're telling me your story. So I'm saying, like, you know what? Through the way you did live, walking in a righteous way and giving thanks to the Most High. The Most High bless every land that you did on through the word, son, and power. To the Most High. And I've noticed that happens when people turn to the Most High in the right way. The Most High will bless your land, bless you, and bless your home, and everything is blessed. You know what I mean?
Can I just say that I so right, because even out of when I people were brought here and whipped and battered, and still everything that I use in the West were invented by I family from the 17th century or long before that. Every single thing that I now use in this time, blood transfusion, heart transplant, the broom, the mop, the elevator, every single thing, the combustion engine, the lawnmower, every single thing, the refrigerator, the folding bed, every single thing that I use now NASA everywhere, the space
Toilet,
program,
indoor toilet, bath,
everything.
bath, shower, all them sitting there.
And that came
Yeah.
off of people who was robbed of knowledge, not being able to go to school, but that consciousness never left them, that determination and that greatness of where they came from never left them, even though they were beaten and brutalized. And one would have thought they got weary, but it made I and I were even stronger, and because every generation said, I and I don't have to be like this, right? We're creators. We come from a great land. And the consciousness, this is what I'm talking about, the consciousness of a people. When a people is awake in consciousness, nothing can prevent them. But because they've dumbed everyone down with the food and with false knowledge, people are confused sometimes as to what to believe. But what I say to the eye, if you're out there and the eye feel confused, go into the eye self and hear that gentle voice that speaks to the eye, that sounds just like the eye, not the loud aggressive one that provokes and causes contention, but go into the eye higher self, and there the eye will find Rastafari. It's like fine-tuning an instrument. But remember, every morning the eye rise, the eye has to tune in, because there's a bundle of negative energy, because it's the good fighting the good, having to fight the evil to balance out. So when the eye rise in the morning, there's an abundance of things that's going through the eye head. And if you don't mind, the first 10 minutes of waking up, the eye feel like, boy, man, go back on bed, you know, because too many things on my mind. That's the unconscious state trying to attack the conscious state. So all the eye has to say is just to breathe. Breathe. Take the breath of life and give thanks for a new day. And go into the higher consciousness. Say to those things, listen, move away. I didn't call you. Dismiss it like the eye would dismiss a bad smell out of the house. Right? Because to take that on at the beginning of the day, it destroys the whole day. So stay in the eye consciousness and rise with the morning with joy, first of all. Because when I take that first breath, many people didn't rise to take that first breath. So first of all, give thanks to the Father and the universe and the Mother of creation for the I being. Look at the sun and greet the sun. Greet the moon at night. Greet the stars, because they're all universal family of I and I being. And for every star that is in the universe, I and I are connected to one of them.
Rastafari, my Lord. Can you read that little quote for me, Dada?
All right. All right. I'm going to read this to for all the listeners out there. I'm reading. We're dealing with the elements, because we know we have all the elements within us. As the sister was just saying about all these trillions of stars, we're connected to one, not just one of them. We're connected to all of them. See, you know.
But each of us have our own personal one.
That's right.
Yes,
of course. You understand?
Yes.
How do we find that? Hold on. Stop. Now, what you're saying there, you're making me think about something. Yeah, it's not no mad thing. Yeah. One time I was looking up in the sky and I saw a star, and the star, I don't know, I was just attracted to the star. It was just standing out.
So I start.
Yeah. So I said, "What is it about?" I said, "Do something make I see." And it changed colour. Yeah, it went from light blue to dark blue. I said, "No, this is a joke. No, this ain't real." I said, "Do something else." And then it moved from side to side. I'm saying, am I losing this thing or what? But I know this star could hear what I'm saying. But what I just ignored it up to until you're telling me now.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, it's one of them things. But what you're saying is we all have our own star out there.
Yes. You see all this.
That's why they say every nigga is a star.
Connect. Connection.
You know, I mean,
Wow.
you see, this is what the oneness is. It's not necessarily like we all sit down in a room and we gonna hold hands together and sing Kumbaya around a campfire.
Kumbaya who?
Kumbaya or whatever. You know what I mean? Really, it's about realizing our unity,
Yes.
our oneness with the whole. knowing that the eyes
that
not
power,
separate
bridging, that
with the-
power when we come together.
You know?
Listen, when you're looking back at our ancestors and how we come so far and what we've been through and we're still here, it's because of the unity that we had together through slavery, through everything.
I would
We was together,
It's
and
the
that was the
unity of
strength.
life. It's
So
the
now
unity of
some
life.
people turn to other things and want to be something that they're not. Yeah, it's changing up things. You know, 'cause I look at a lot of us, some of us, has just forgot about our African culture and decided to take on another thing and say that this is what we are now. We are European, we are English, we are British. Yeah, but you go and tell the clan man that you're British. You don't care. I'm not saying it to be racist, but I'm just saying, never forget where you come from. So much people died so that we here can be here today.
Yeah.
I would like to inject in there because see, I as one who when I talk out of the I'm uncontained, so I won't gonna say things that is what is usually heard and so forth. It's just the way I think, the way I tap into myself. So the thing is like, you know, when we talk about identity and when we're chatting about race, and we get caught up like, I don't want to sound racist and thing.
Yeah.
Firstly, we have to understand before the 15th, 14th, 17th century up to now, people of the world was not using the color of their skin to refer to themselves.
Yes.
Yes. This is a European invention.
Yes.
You have to be really clear with something here.
Yes.
Because what it is, it shows you again about the mind manipulation, consciousness manipulation. Because the Europeans call themselves white people, right? And then they called other, right? Who wasn't themselves. They called other black, red, yellow, brown, right? These then became terms that people were conditioned to call themselves, and then that become their identity. But it's not their identity. It's what creates this myth about race to create the division and separation.
Divide and rule.
Yes.
So the divide and the rule.
Yeah.
So then, through the colonization and imperialism, people's minds have been colonized to take on an identity that was never theirs. It wasn't emerged from themselves. So here's the irony of this. We then run about and we would say about, we're black people, and we have fight against the oppressive system. And some people will say white supremacy, which I don't agree with, because a superiority complex, all right, check. If you ever, it comes out of the same thing. A superiority complex comes out of an inferiority complex.
Quite so.
So when you're going to say and hold on to a concept in your consciousness, that's white supremacy, then you're saying you're of the opposite pole of that, which is inferiority. So you're
giving them the power,
compounding it in your own self.
And giving them the power.
And giving away your power.
Giving
away your
the
power. You're transferring your power away to things that's not real.
Yes.
So when we run around defending an identity which is not ours, at the same time trying to find ourselves, trying to emancipate our minds from colonization, it's ironic because you're defending something that's still not you.
Can we go so far as to say, right, number one, the soul has no color, and number two, can we go so far to say that there is people in the black temple flesh who was white before.
Thank you.
Reincarnation. And there is white people.
So if you open this up.
You have to open up.
You have to open this up into real broadness.
There is white people that used to be, if you into reincarnation, some of them was black before. I know a white man who directly, he don't do nothing that's white. You understand what I'm saying? And he don't even live that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying like, yo, brethren, and he's married to a black woman as well.
All right.
Right. So me and him are reason, good brethren of mine. And I can't, if I had my eye, if I just didn't list, just wouldn't watch the brother, I'd say, you know what, this brother is just living the life or I would live in a way. And it's just the way how he is. And I said to him, brethren, you sure you wasn't a black man in your past life? And he never said a word.
Let's get into this.
This is something that if you know about reincarnation, then is there just for talking about colors and
this racism. Is the thing we have to be dealing with. We don't know. We have to step our consciousness, expand our intelligence. And we cannot hold on to these kind of rhetoric talk, and we can't hold on to these concepts that entrap us
into a cul-de-sac, because we are more than your body. You are more than your color skin. In fact, you're not your body.
So is that what I'm saying is does this
what you're
exist?
saying is correct, because you see, it's a thing again, you know. You see, a lot of people don't know what they have done or may not have done to create the situation they're in now.
Okay.
And the way universal law, which is what the teachings is about, is to teach you about universal law, so we can be in harmony with ourselves. Because what you sow is what you reap.
So some of these slave masters will come back black then.
Let me tell you something. I feel, I'm telling you this, no, brethren, this is the thing. We can't limit this runnings. Because what it is this. There are some people you're in a black skin, you're in a black body. Yeah. And they're suffering grievously. Yeah. Now check this out. What you do to another is what you are doing to another. Yeah. If you do good, if you plant a good seed, you reap a good harvest. If you plant a sweet seed, if you plant fruit, you're gonna get back fruit. If you plant poison, you're gonna get back poison. Because what you put into something is what you get out. This is energy. Like attracts like. So you've done some wicked things to other people in a different time. Yeah, when you was in a, the race you was in, was doing wickedness to another ethnic group. The way the universe balance things up is that you now, as a soul, because the soul has no limitation. It doesn't have no color. The soul is beyond mental concepts. When we're chatting about identity, I feel we should be dealing with the source of ourselves. We are expressions of the divine supreme source of being. This is our true identity. We step into a car. Them call it incarnation. You're incarnated. Car means flesh. You even jump in and out of your car, people that deal with, and these words are interrelated.
Because you are the soul in the car. Now that car can't move without you.
You so get in a car, and you get out the car and go into the next car.
That car can't
and
move without you. And you come out
to that car and you go into the next car.
You
see, you can do that, but the car can't do that. In fact, when you come out the car can't move. You see what I'm saying? Simplifying the thing. So you have things where the way for the soul will come in and grow, and it wants to grow past the limitations of the ego personality, the ego construct. Right? That is only based on self-survival and self-satisfaction. Now, there's nothing wrong with self-satisfaction and self-preservation, but when you're gonna do that at the expense of others, that's when it becomes a problem. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a higher way to live than just self-preservation, to the point where you're gonna kill off only part of people just to preserve yourself. Now, based on universal law, what you sow is what you reap, sooner or later. And it's not as a punishment from the Creator. It's a means of learning. Because when you now then experience in the flesh the very conditions you put others through, it is to shock you into changing the way you think. The word repent means to think again. So you have some people who were in a different ethnic group, right? And they did wickedness to, they did wickedness to another group. Let me tell you something. There are some black people who say they are black people, and we're just using that loosely because we already explained that's not even our identity. So when we're using terms to define ourselves, we actually confine ourselves to that which we use to define ourselves. And we should not be identifying with anything that limits us. We should be identifying only with that which is the infinite source. You see what I'm saying? But what happens is that you get these beings incarnate now into the bodies, into the ethnic group of those people. Those people they ridicule, those people they tortured. You understand? And now they're experiencing a life as those people. There's some black folk who, I'm telling you now, I'll say this on radio, I mean, really, as they say, who the cap fits weird. I'm mentioning no names, but there are black folk I know. They were slave masters in the previous time. And what they're here doing now is their part to try to change what they contributed to, which they're now experiencing in the flesh, in order to change their own selves. You see what I'm saying? This is what's going on. That's why you cannot judge. Yes, you see, when it said judge not, the reason because of that is because what you could have been planted, what you could have sowed, and what you could have done in the previous incarnation is now what you could be reaping sooner or later in the next one. You see? So you don't know what you done or what you did not do to contribute to the condition you're in now. Yeah? That's why it says judge not. You see? Unless ye be judged. Because cosmic law is not like human law, man law. You know, eye for an eye. Everybody wants something to happen now. Kill them. You know, whatever. You know, you want your form of punishment. Yeah, to befall somebody. But the thing is that you have this thing called rehabilitation. You see what I'm saying? And basically, anything that you go through, you're supposed to grow and learn through it. You're not supposed to stay the same. And if you condemn somebody for a mistake, or not even just a mistake, an action they have done, how are they going to grow and learn from that? How are they going to, sometimes you compound.
So what you're saying then is that, what you're
worse.
saying then is basically people will go into different cars to learn.
Learn by experiencing in the flesh the very hardship they caused on others. You can also reap the benefits of all the good deeds you have done. You see, it's not just one-sided. You see? So this is the reason why when you find some people that never grow beyond, they all, listen, 10, 30, 20, 50, they're still holding on to the same thing. It's like they now grow. Yeah? They haven't learned anything more about life and themselves. They're still holding on to resentment, hatred. Look here. You feel resentment to people who first made you feel inferior. But check this out. Black, it's not a unique thing to us. To
so do you see that, would you say that people would have an opportunity, the soul has an opportunity to put things right?
The soul that's where you incarnate. Because you see, the purpose of the soul, it's your soul's purpose coming as far, which is to grow and expand beyond what it was before.
Only
you see what I'm saying?
If you're human.
Say that again.
If you're human.
Now here we go. No,
when you say if you're human, human is the vehicle and the vessel that they call human, but for the soul.
But the people who are behaving unhuman are not human. So not everyone that dwells on the earth, on this planet, are humans, because they don't have human behavior. They don't have a consciousness about them.
Some don't have a soul.
Yeah, they don't have a soul. So not everyone has that ability. And remember that a lot of our people came from Abyssinia and came to Carcass Island to live, because they were born with a lighter complexion and they couldn't be in the sun. So there's a lot of people in Europe and all over the world who are posing as, I don't like to use the word, but as a color thing, as white people, who are in fact not white people, but are people from Abyssinia, but they came to Carcass Island to live because of the heat of Africa. They couldn't take it. They called them mulatto people who couldn't take the sun, and they came to Carcass Island. And those people must have had children and the whole cycle. Because remember, I and I were here in the ice age. When I and I were here, the ice was thick on the planet. When I and I came to Europe, and I came to Europe long before their story tells the story.
Injected in there, I hear what you're saying. You see, the thing is with all of this stuff is that you see, when we're dealing with fragments of history, fragments of the past, you see, it depends how far back you go. Because
no, but it all ties together, because I saying that some people are here who are in this, who look like I and I but are not. So in a sense, some of them are of them are white but are I and I.
You see, this is where I feel said the thing with spiritual is that when we identifying with who we really is, this is not a spirit, this is non-physical. Because the physical is a temporary thing, it's a vehicle. So our consciousness, because consciousness is not just being aware of your surroundings, as I was saying. Consciousness is the prime substance. See? You see, whatever you hold in your consciousness, all right, let's put it this way. Your personal consciousness is what brings you good or evil.
Yes.
Yeah? Your personal consciousness is powerful, creative impulses,
Right.
of electromagnetic creativity, you see?
So what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you in here. I'm just saying that, you see, there's the spiritual principles we really have to line up with, because your own consciousness, whatever color your body is, your own personal consciousness is what draws to your good or evil.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, that's
So this is where the focus should be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because this is why understanding the universal laws, Christ consciousness is basically universal laws. This is why I'm teaching. Yeah? And Christ consciousness is really the true archetypal essence of our own selves. You see what I'm saying? It's not one somebody. You see what I mean?
All
it
right,
is like sometimes we have to be reminded of who we are beyond the illusion. You know?
Okay.
All right, brother.
No human being on this planet never born good. No human being on this planet never born good. We all born to be good. We all born to be good. That's why we born as a baby. You have to lift up, creep before walk. When look at a fish born in can swim. A human being have to creep, him have to have him food, him have to feed him. So we all born to be good on this planet. In every way.
To learn to be good.
To learn to be good and to be good as well in consciousness.
I like what you're saying.
You have a point. No, I tell you what.
I like what
if you
you're
have a
saying.
child, yeah,
To be good.
and you bring up that child, if you have a child and you don't discipline that child, you just feed it and clothe it, how would that child turn out? All you do is feed him and clothe him. That's it. You don't tell him right. You
Well,
don't
it's
tell him
interesting
wrong.
you said this, because they
What
did
will
some,
that child be?
my brother bless. Interesting you said that, and we're gonna bring it back around, and we're gonna have a break in a minute. But it's like interesting you said this,
Yeah.
because they did this experiment,
Yeah.
I would say it's a cruel thing, but anyway, this is the way them do this experiment. They had a group of babies. One group of the baby, basically them feed the babies, them change the baby, and then put the baby back into to rest in the incubator, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the difference is there was part of the group of the babies, in addition to feeding the babies them and changing them and putting them back into the crib, they held the baby, they played with the baby, they hugged the child, they talked to the child, smiled to the child. Yeah. Now, say it was 6 children them did this too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Half of them they gave that little addition.
Yeah.
Not just fed them and changed them. The other ones they fed and just changed and put back in the incubator, into the crib. Yeah. Now after a little while, what they noticed was that the babies that were in addition to being fed and changed, being hugged, spoken to, shown love, they grew big. The babies that were just fed and then just changed the nappy and they just put it back into its crib, them babies they were shriveling. Yeah, this is for you to have to experiment to kind of verify and prove something like this. I would say it's quite cruel still.
Inhumane.
Yeah? You understand? But the thing is, through this finding, blatant, it was then the children who was not hugged as well as just being fed
Wasn't
and changed.
given love, basically.
Wasn't given love, spoken to and just embraced. You see what I'm saying? You spent time with them. You know what I mean? You just went, hey, play with them a little bit, hug them, and then you put them into the cot, yeah? Those children that was not given that additional attention, they found those children grew, they were smaller, they shrunk, and it was not as healthy and big as the children who was additionally given love or given attention, spoken to, played with. So, and this is the next thing again. You look at a plant, yeah? And you speak to your plant, and you tell your plant how you love the plant, and you pour water to it, and I give good life force to the plant will grow. But when you turn around and cuss a plant, or you don't even pay much attention to it, you see what I'm saying? The plant wither,
Yeah, yeah.
And I know this as a fact.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I mean? So it's the life force energy you're giving, because it's not just a physical thing. It's the energy we're emitting from ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah? We have bioelectromagnetic field, as they call it in scientific. We know it as the aura. Yeah? But it's your energy field. And we are walking, living, transmitter,
All right,
receivers.
let me get into this too.
So what we give
is what we receive. We also absorb the energies we put out.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So it's the choice. This is why our personal consciousness is what brings to us good or evil.
Yes.
And this is what we're here to learn to master.
Yeah.
Through direct experience. You plant something that is poisonous. Yeah?
Or even say something.
Yes, brother. Because when you're planting things, it's also your thoughts. Your seeds of thoughts, your thought seeds, your thought forms.
Right. So
and that's when we connect with the universe.
Yes.
All right. When we tune in now to universal love, universal consciousness, intelligence. Now we're in alignment and in harmony with ourselves.
Yes, and with our planetary family.
Yes, man. You know what I mean? Because you deal with the true nature of the divine, which is all love, absolute love. But
and all universal.
Universal is everywhere. You know what I mean? In everything. And so that's that life force, that God force that we can draw upon. Yeah, and energize ourselves and heal ourselves from any illness. But when you're dealing with this Western mentality, and it's not just this, it's this human personality, which is the seat of the earthly consciousness only. It looks on things outside. Yeah, oh, I need this. It is outside. I need to go outside to get this. And if I go outside and get that, I'm dependent upon something outside. Yeah, when it's all within. Everything that they even did experiments where a man was deficient in vitamin B, and they just had him in this controlled environment, and actually was checking his stools, to see if he was producing any vitamin B. They find he was producing vitamin B. Yeah. So usually when them say you're deficient in something, them say you must go outside and buy some spinach, something that have the iron in it, or what it is that you feel you're deficient in, and you must consume that from the outside in order to build up what you're deficient in. They find that the body was actually producing what the person was deficient in. So they're thinking to themselves, if the body's already producing this thing, why is the body not taking it up to be able to utilize it? They come to realize it's the state of the consciousness of the individual.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of us have backgrounds where when we was impressionable as children, we received a lot of negative programming. Yeah, we believe there's a lot of fear you have, a lot of trauma. Yeah, a lot of things that resentful feelings and thoughts towards somebody you haven't resolved in yourself. These type of things constrict the flow of the life force flowing through you, through the soul, through to the subconscious to flow throughout every cell.
Yeah.
Every organ of your body is vibrating at a particular frequency.
Yeah.
And the depletion in that frequency of the organ will lead in disease. You see what I'm saying? So when that frequency, that vibration is reestablished into the organ that is depleted, the organ come back healthy again. Everything is vibrational in its essence. You see what I mean? So we need to I'm saying that we need to be more in tune with these levels of information and knowledge. We need to upgrade, just like your phone, upgrade.
Yes.
We need to upgrade the knowledge of ourselves. We need to tune back into what we are saying. When they said that, like, look here, gods and your gods and kings and queens. Then you have to deal with the attributes of gods and kings and queens. You can't go and say you're a king and queen.
It's not a good feeling.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we need to tune back into universal laws. This is what it is. Because the consequences of being out of harmony with it has led to a lot of things we'd rather not experience. But those experiences are not there as a punishment from the source. It's there to increase our wisdom and enlightenment. You see what I mean? So we then become masters of our own consciousness rather than anybody else try to manipulate with consciousness for plant weeds in the garden while the gardener are asleep.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So this is the power, man. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Right, we're gonna take a little break here, and then we're gonna come back and open up with a little bit from this book. Yeah.
This thing was in an organization I used to be in, and I, but this is about the part that we're gonna read tonight is the dealing with the elements within ourselves.
Yeah.
Because Kemet is a colony of Ethiopia.
Right.
I think people need to know that.
Right. So we're gonna read a little thing from this book. Who,
you know.
Can we say who's that from?
Well,
That-
yeah, but we're not
but
we don't endorse.
No, we're gonna read a little bit. We're gonna read a little bit from. No, we're just gonna read a little bit from a book. So we're gonna take a little break. You know what I mean? And then we'll be back forward in a minute. And I hope you enjoyed what you hear. I hope you've learned something about yourself and about the way you think. Yeah, even the way we think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? As an individual person and as a collective, as a whole, or as African people, or
cosmic beings,
spiritual whether you're English people or white people or black people or whatever race you are, you know, this consciousness affects all of us.
There you go.
So
True
you know what I mean. So you can't come and tell me and say this is a racist thing. This consciousness affects everybody.
That's right.
Because you are not the flesh. You live in the flesh. As my brethren show you, you drive the car. So we could just drive some music, and we'll forward with you in a little while. Bless.
You know.
No cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah. I still want Marley. Bless FM radio, play good. You're going to church on Sunday. There's no love in your heart on Monday. You're trying to show me that you know yourself, yeah. Purify your heart when you know yourself. Purify your heart when you know yourself. A fool says in his heart there's no God. But if that's your belief, my friend, it's too sad. You're trying to show me that you know yourself, yeah. Purify your heart, then you know yourself. Purify your heart, then you know yourself. A fool says in his heart there's no God. But if that's your belief, my friend, I said that it's too sad. You're trying to show me that you know yourself, yeah. You better purify your heart, then you know yourself. Purify your heart, then you know yourself. Purify your heart, then you know yourself. You better purify your heart, and then you know yourself, yeah. How could you purify your heart and you know yourself?
Yes, greetings again. Well, we're gone a little bit over time, so we're going to round it up a little bit soon in a minute, but we're going to read out something. And what we're reading out here, I won't even bother go and say what book it's from and so forth, because that will open up another level of things, and you know, that's not necessary. But what is going to be read here is about the elements. You see, we have elements in ourselves, you know.
when we chat about elements, you have ether. All right, that's the building, that's the bowl of the elements, right? Out of that, you have your air, your fire. Well, fire come first, you know, and then you have your fire, you have your water, you have your air, and you have your earth. Now, all these elements is within inside of us. You have the ether, which is the spirit, the consciousness, the formless self, which all what is made visible. You see, you conceive within your consciousness, yeah, and what you conceive in your consciousness is what becomes objectified. So when you deal with the ether, this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with everything. You're dealing with the whole, yeah? The boundless ocean of life. And then when you're now dealing with fire, you're dealing with your energy, your life force, you see? When you're dealing with the water, you're dealing with your emotions. When you're dealing with the air, you're dealing with your mentality, your psychology. When you're dealing with the earth, you're dealing with your physicology. You see what I'm saying? Or your physicality. So we carry all the elements within ourselves. So there was times where, you know, people are talking about affirmations now and things, and in ancient times it would be known as words of power, you understand, or prayers, but prayers also has the term praise in it, to raise your vibrational frequencies up, even though we have the phonetics of pray, like a predator prey upon something, yeah, but this is why reverence, that's the word. You see, I love that word, you see, reverence, because that's what we should have for the soul. Revere the soul. You see, when you have conviction and consciousness, this is what gets energy moving, yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna read something which is like, it's the honoring to the elements within you, and one of the elements here we're talking about is Tefnut. Tefnut means the waters of heaven. Yeah? This is the meaning of the word. Tefnut. Yeah? The waters of heaven. Ah. Alright? So, check this out. O Tefnut, guardian of the water, the seas and the ocean that sustain all life on this planet, the rain that stimulates the chlorophyll in the plant life on this planet, the artist that gives color and beauty in all the flowers on this planet, the clouds of this planet that provides the moistness of the planet, the giver and taker of life on this planet. I am on this planet and I need the great waters, the rain, the moistness. Praise be to Tefnut, the guardian of water. Now, when you say a thing, you have to feel it. And in what has just been said here, you can see that it's about giving praise, acknowledgement, reverence to that which is vital to sustaining your life here on this planet. And the more you give gratitude for something, the more it will stick around. The things you have no appreciation of, you'll see how quick it run where I leave you. Yeah? You can even have a pair of clothes. You have a board, 10 years old, it's sitting look like it's brand new. Because your energy of appreciation it also sustains your clothes. It even sustains your building. It sustains where you live in. It sustains the things that you have as your possessions. But when your energy is disappreciative, when your energy is when you live in a mindset of constant criticism, then these things will start bucking up. Who will start tear up in your things? And he just bought it a week ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's about gratitude, yeah? Gratitude, I should say. Gratefulness, because this is a vibration of a higher frequency that you're doing rather than complaining. You understand? And this is what you're focusing your own consciousness on to draw to you. Yeah? And the last thing, we must give thanks to Geb. Yeah? These are different terminologies, but we are chatting about the earth, the soil, so we can plant the seeds and make the food grow. You see? So, Ya Geb, Hafuzi and Shil El. Well, I'm going to speak in the Wapik, and I don't think much people are going to get this one. Yeah? So, the English terminology of this is O Geb, guardian of the earth, the soil, the sand, the mountains that yields all life on this planet, the rich soil that grows the vegetation on this planet, the foundation, the artist that gives birth to the planets on this planet. Oh my gosh. The rich soil, the moist earth on this planet that provides a bed for the creatures on this planet. The receiver of the flesh when the life has parted on this planet. I am on this planet. I need the great soil, the dirt, the sand. Praise be to Geb, the guardian of the earth. So look here, sir. You know how they're mashing up the earth. Look how there's certain soil based upon GMO. You plant them seeds into the soil and mash up the soil. You have soil that is no longer fertile. Huh? So rich in its substance that is naturally, divinely given.
Beautiful.
Right? So we need to give thanks. When I say give thanks, we need to have reverence. Because the sister I said reverence. And reverence is grander than thanks. Yeah? Reverence is a deep, deep feeling of adoration. And what you call ferventness. Being ardent. Having the fire of life within you. Love is a fire, you know. It's not no little, Mickey Mouse business like how we've been conditioned to believe. Love is a fire. Yeah? It's a preserving and creative fire of life. It's the life force we must have reverence to in ourselves. So you see, when we tune in and approach ourselves in that way, my gosh, power you're tapping into. So anyway, this is what I'm saying now as we close up to this this session of this evening. So
yes, so sister, you got any closing statements and thing, and our sister Qween Iyarta, for those who don't know. Yes,
Qween Iyarta.
Just giving thanks to Bless for having I in to reason with this beautiful brethren and my brethren Natty. I've got to get up and hug him, family. Oh, Rastafari. Yes, it's been a joy. It's been a total joy because each one teach one.
Yes.
And knowledge is good. It's like food for me.
That's
so
right,
it's been an absolute joy, and I hope everyone listening was enlightened. And I'll be just happy to come back and reason with I anytime. The absolute joy. Give thanks, Natty. Yes.
I had to. I warned him. I said to the virgin, don't run to now. Don't look out for reinforcement now. I will tell you.
And and that was very brave of the eye to have two Josephs in the same room.
That's why I keep quiet. I don't handle myself today, But yes, it's been a wonderful show.
Yeah.
And I hope, as I said, that we've learned some. We have all learned something, and especially when it comes to the colour thing.
Yeah.
I hope you've all learned something as well. So, brother Tuffis.
And that I and I are one.
Yes, one
in love.
One.
Rastafari, give thanks.
One.
So your closing statement, Tuffis and thing. What you like to say before we fall?
Just like a show you at it up, I would like to have an next part too.
Yeah.
Yes, I.
Anytime.
We can have
we can have an next part two. We plan for an next part two. I just hope the listener them full joy the moment,
Oh, beautiful.
That's so good.
Just love that,
It's all good. So family, you'll be able to get the show on YouTube tomorrow. We're going to load it up on YouTube for you. Yeah, and then you just the information there is needed for all people of the earth, regardless of the color of your skin or your eyes. This reasoning is for all.
Don't worry, man. There'll be a part two, man.
Yeah, we're going to do the
sister
part two.
Iyarta go there again.
Yeah, we're going to do some press ups.
Yes, I. You know, gone again, Rastafari.
Haile Selassie first.
All right, so family, we give thanks, and we're gonna yard out here with this tune. So it's all blessed, yeah. You done with it? All right.
Yeah.
Nope. You done it again.